Good morning. Only really one team in the Premier League needing a result. That was Manchester City. And they got it. 2 goals before half time. That was banker material. Unload the old wheelbarrow material, that one. HJK, an emphatic 4-2 win against another possible title contender in SJK. This is an emphatic performance. Something for you to pay attention to this upcoming Finnish Veikkausliiga summer season. Bologna and Clermont. Clermont through. Or are they? Yeah. Promoted, I believe, Clermont. No, staying up. Den Bosch and Telstar, I did tell you about their head-to-head record. I think it was a load of 0-0s and 1-0s. Add that into a playoff, and you got the recipe for not much to go on. Let's have a look at the head-to-heads. There, 0-0, 0-0, 1-0. Add in today. These are in ordinary matches, bear in mind. Add in the nervousness of a playoff, and you've almost got that guaranteed. I hope you backed it pre-match. I did put it forward for you. If you do listen to these review preview videos, you can come up with some odd gem now and again. Let's have a look on to today. You have to be howling mad Murdoch for me to give you any angle in the Europa League final. I haven't got a clue. Maybe we can see. Let's try ChatGPT. Are there any patterns in previous Europa League final results that we can use today? E.g. 1-0s, tight first half, etc. Let's see. It might give you an angle into the match. Consistent patterns with the Europa League final results. So let's have a look at these. Well, we don't have 2024 in there, but Sevilla-Roma, Sevilla won on pens. Tight, tight, tight. Since 2021, pens. Both teams have scored, you'll note, as well in the last 5. Well, we've not got 2024, but this is good enough information here. Both teams are scoring, aren't they? So that's notable. 3 consecutive 1-1 results as well. That's notable. So do we lay the first team to score? Do we lay any late draw? It's a real consistent pattern. So that's an interesting avenue in for AI to tell us a load of 1-1s and going to pens. That's something you might want to think about if you're looking at an angle in. If the to qualify market is live, you might want to look at to qualify Tottenham or Manchester United via penalties. How about that? KUPS, not even favourite. Those with the glass half full will be thinking, boy, oh boy, Christmas has come early. This lot are unbeaten, KUPS. It's a damning indictment of them that Ilves are favourite. I don't know what's gone on with KUPS. Are they playing in clown shoes this evening? Or with blindfolds? It'll be an interesting match to look to see whether the market has got this correctly or not. Ilves having a good early season, but KUPS are the big dogs in the Veikkausliiga, already top of the tree by some distance relative to the amount of matches played. Metz and Ream. This is a final. So it's going to be a nervy affair. As we saw with yesterday's 0-0, we might be able to back 0-0 pre-match in this one. It's going to be very, very nervy. Serie B playoffs. Let's have a look at the draw on the Diana doors. This is the semi-final. Spezia Catanzaro, Cremonese, Juve Stabia. These are just one-legged affairs we have to check. It says first leg here. I don't know if that's telling us that there is going to be a second leg, because these are semi-finals, don't forget. So the only way to find that out is to go to uk.soccerway.com when you're not denied access. It's important to check these elements because now you know that it's a two-legged affair. It quite simply means it's half-time at the end of this match. So that puts a whole different tilt on these semi-finals. So just be careful. I would be, if I'm the away side, I'd be looking to nick a 0-1, for example. The Dutch Eredivisie relegation playoff, Willemsway and Dordrecht. Dordrecht coming from the top flight, from the second tier, I believe. That's the importance of finishing in that third bottom place. It gives you another shot at staying up for Willemsway. The Swedish Superettan, well, my general conclusion here in the Swedish Superettan, having researched for members of footballtradingprofits.com, is that it's a little bit too early in the season to be finding strong angles. It's a consistent problem I'm facing, particularly with this Superettan. It is a pretty poor league. Let's have a look, for example, there. Away side struggle, Trelleborg, failing to score in 3 away matches, failed to score in 5 out of 6. So we're getting a lot of these teams turning up in Sweden. Osters, we had one yesterday as well, having trouble scoring. That means if they score first, are they really going to follow up with the second? If your answer to that is no, if they score first, they're layable via insurance. Any side struggling to score, do you really think they're going to suddenly start scoring 2 goals? Possible, because of penalties, red cards, etc. 2-goal unbeaten pattern prior to the last match for Falkenberg. Beaten 13th and 15th, play 14th. So the value is with Falkenberg's. You can tell with this league, it's very, very tough. So a little glimpse. Normally this research is purely for members of Football Trading Profits. It's old school research. I'm having to do this manually rather than through AI. Manually is better because I can pick up nuances that AI can't. Like score, unless AI, I think, has a whole gamut of information, and that would take me longer to provide it. I tried it yesterday to provide him with some soccerstats.com screenshots. Then I had to wait for him to analyse. It took far too long. It is an avenue in AI research, but I have to get the proper prompt and have to make it nice and quick. But looking at Ågrit Sandviken, evens for the home favourite. Ågrit, 3, 4, 5 goals scored in the last 3 at home. So this is a really good angle. 2-2-2-1, 2 goals scored before half time. I call it the roadie. 2-2-2-1, 2-2-2, 2-2. Before half time, so possibility of goals. But then we have to look for congruence. Sandviken, 2-1, 0-2 goals scored. Well, they scored 2 goals in 2 of the last 4. All 3 wins against 11th and lower. Played 5th today. So I'm expecting Ågrit to continue. Quite simply outscore Sandviken. That would be the angle here. Utsikten, 1.95. 3 consecutive defeats. It's win, draw, 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 win. Scoring 2+ goals at least. 3 consecutive 2-2 draws. So that's a real angle. Particularly if Örebro lead by 2 goals. Conceded 2+ goals in all bar 1 match, Örebro. 1-0, 1-1 scored in away defeats. Only 2-0 at half time. 1.95 looks a bit of value for Utsikten. But we will see how accurate the matches unfurl relative to the research patterns, because it is one of these lower tier leagues. Västerås and Östersund, 1.67, very strong. Only 2 defeats came away for Västerås. Draw, win, draw at home. No 0-0 at half time. The other thing we've got to be wary about in this Superettan is a very small sample of matches from which to make our conclusions. For example, in the traditional August to April league, it's about the end of October, November, where we get a decent number of matches under our belt to make proper, accurate decisions based on stats. Here, we've only got a small sample, so it's not that accurate. But no 0-0 at half-time so far. Defeats have come against the top 2 for Östersund. Huge gap in form lines for Östersund's away, so no gauge. This is the problem we have at this stage of the season. Let me show you the Västerås Östersund's match. And I'll talk about gaps in form. Gaps in form you'll tend to see in the challenge table. If we have no form, we can't read the match. So let's check out the Superettan and that Ågrit match, because I told you already in the research that it was unreadable. I think it was that one. Västerås and Östersund. So let's go to that one. And I'll show you what I mean by gaps in form. It's a significant point because the challenge table is used to gauge how teams perform against other teams near their opponents in the league. But you can't do that when there's very little of the challenge table to work with. you can see here. And it's great that the challenge table has appeared in the Super Etten. That's an improvement. You can see here, playing 7th today, they haven't played 2nd to 12th away from home. We've got absolutely no idea whether Ostersunds will improve or struggle against fellow top 7s. We haven't got a clue because they haven't played them. Västerås, for their sins against the top 6, well, they played the top 5, 2 score draws. It's a very small sample of matches to work off, isn't it? We're getting an idea here, for example, that there might be struggles for them away against bottom half. Here, might be looking for 2 goals from Ostersunds when they're playing the bottom 4, bottom 5. So that's the importance of the challenge table, but it's, as you can see, woefully inadequate today. Those are the main leagues. Don't forget that the French Open will be with us soon. Tennis 24 is your starting point. I'm going to have a chat with AI today. My tennis trading manual. Any updates? So let's see. Tennis 24 continuing with the French Open qualifiers. I don't tend to play qualifiers myself, but let's have a look. Was the market accurate yesterday? Well, just about for Rocker on the first set and a tiebreaker. Good fight back from Droge. This is what I was talking about. When you've got an odds-on favourite like this, so short, winning the first set, it's a throwaway later, nothing. You've got a Frenchman in France. Look at Droge on the tiebreaker on the next set. Maybe Borna Coric had an injury or something, but that's significant. That's why I focus on nationalities tied to today's country. You've seen it again with Grenier here, won the second set. But 1.83 the favourite, suggesting a 3-set match and suggesting tiebreakers. So that was the market absolutely spot on there. So you will find some angles. That Borna Coric one, a speculative lay because he's playing a Frenchman. We've never heard of it as well. Tabor lost the first set. Frenchman in France, even greater motivation to correct that second set. That's what we're after. Like finding the football, we're stacking up reasons to be confident if they to take or follow them if they lose the first set. Balashvili, easy as you like. Harrison Evans, I was expecting, a more competitive match, and that's what we got first set. But Evans through, I think the better in the rankings, Evans. So again, Froggy, excuse my French, Emery winning the first set, but then losing to Momoa. But this one was interesting. 1.91 the favourite. Kukushkin is no mug. I think there must be an injury concern with this one. 6-1, 6-1 is absolutely emphatic. Kukushkin would have been expecting to go deep enough into the French Open. Marin Cilic, great to see him winning. As I say, he's been playing tennis since Joe Biden was born in 1864. French Open continues today. Qualifiers. So again, a sweep of the locals would be a good starting. Gaillard Weyenberg. Again, this is a similar story to Coric. We've got a 1.2 or thereabouts favourite. If he wins the first set, lay him. Gaillard Weyenberg might just improve in front of home support, if there is home support for these qualifiers. Erard against Shevchenko. Blanchette. Garin. Again, this is similar to the Coric odds. You're going to get very, very low odds. There's Droge surviving. And he's favourite today against Gaia. 2 Frenchmen playing in France. We might see 3 sets, regardless of what the market says here. Hanfmann, standout. So tennis for me is a bit about a personal choice as well in which matches you play, which players. You want readability. Don't make your life difficult. Play as you know. Winning yesterday. Looks like he's in good nick. Karandulu, a South American on clay, when favourite. Take the hint. Biancano, another French person. I've got the cats turning up for the free food, which I don't have, alas. So I'll break the news to her very soon. So that's it today. Will you be hearing from me? Probably for the early kickoffs. I don't play major finals. It's just very difficult to get angles in. But we do have some interesting 6 o'clocks. Let's see how accurate the Super Etten is early season. For me, not enough matches played. Avoid overconfidence in any angle. Watch and wait. Form line's not comparable. Fifth in the Eredivisie, indeed. I would always personally favour the Eredivisie side because they've obviously played at the better level of football consistently. Have a great day today. I might see you for the early kickoffs. We've got an absolutely bumper Saturday and Sunday ahead. Italian Serie A finishing on Sunday, I believe. Spanish La Liga as well. English Premier League. But there's only really Europe to be bothering some of the English. Those on 66 and those on 65 points as we currently speak. Have a great day. I might see members a little bit later at 6 o'clock for the Super Etten, but I won't be watching Tottenham and Manchester United. Simple as that.